Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through Byzantine agreement problem, guys. Okay, so let us first go through the theory so that you'll be having a clear idea. So one of the fundamental problem in fault tolerance distributed computing is the Byzantine agreement problem. So basically assume that there are n systems, guys, in your network or in your are distributed. So basically I assume that okay, so among them there is a one faulty, guys, one faulty system. So how you can identify it? So that is a major issue, right? Yes. So to solve that issue, we will be using this Byzantine agreement problem, guys. Okay, so first let us go through the example, because with example you'll be getting the steps also in detail. Okay, so assume we have 4 different processes in total, that is nothing but n is equals to 4, among which one is a faulty, k equal to 1. So basically the thing here they will be considering is that faulty processes will always give random values, guys. Okay, so if you go and ask the first process, it will be saying my number is 1. Okay, you ask what is your number, it says 1. If you go to second process, it will be saying my number is 2. If you go to third process, it will be saying my number is 3. Whereas if a 4 is a faulty process, it will be saying my number is x. So x doesn't exist, right? Yes. So in that way, so just by identifying the things, what it is responding, you'll be identifying whether it is faulty, guys. You'll be deciding, right? Yes. Okay, so assume that we are having 4 processes, among which here the third one is faulty, guys. Okay, please don't watch these things, guys, because these will be updated as I solve the problem, guys. Okay, yes. Okay, so every non-faulty process sends a unique value to all other processes, that is nothing but unique as them. So basically here the processes itself unique as their values, guys. My number is 1, my number is 2, my number is 3, my number is 4, like that. Okay, yes. Okay, so moreover, to reduce the confusion, process 1 will send value 1. Process 2 will send value 2. Like their number only they will be responding, right? Process 3 will send 3. So that is what I have updated here, guys. Here our faulty process is 3. So that is the reason why I give some letters to 3, guys. Whereas this side X, this side Y, I think so, and this side Z. Okay, so in that way I have given 3 letters. Okay, yes. Okay, so now all the values are collected and stored in the form of a vector. I told you, right? So I'll be explaining this second step. So this is the value of second step, guys. Okay, so what does 1 get, guys? So 1 has its own value, that is 1. It got the second value, it got the third value as x, and fourth value as 4. Similarly, what 2 got? It got the first value, it got itself, it got the value, what it gave y, and it gave 4. Whereas 3 got all exact values, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, similarly 4 got 1 to z4. Here it gives z, right? Yes. So in that way, so we got now the vector. Okay, yes. So now we will be sharing this vector to each other, guys. Okay, so consisting of every process passing its vector from step 2, vector list to every other process is created. Okay, hence here we get 4 processes. So basically vector lists are maintained, guys. So 1 will be getting what lists? So basically 1 will be getting all the other lists than 1's list, right? So what 1 will get, now they are sharing lists, assume in that way. So 1 is ready to accept all the lists. So basically it will be getting this list, it will be getting this list, it will be getting this list. So that is what we have written here, guys. Okay, yes. So instead of writing the values of this 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be sending some random values again, right? So we cannot say that it is x, y, z or some value, right? Yes. So that is the reason why here we are indicating it with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, guys. I took 12 random values here, so we cannot judge them, right? So what it is giving, so we don't know. The order could be different, the pattern will be different, right? So even if you observe here, these two are also not same, these two are also not same, these two are also not same. Any relation is not there. So that is the reason why you need to understand that these 3 will also be not same, right? Yes. Okay, let us continue. Okay, so in that way you will be filling these values, guys. So like just sharing, they will be sharing them, and the values which are of a faulty, you'll be getting some random variables, guys. It is better to remember in that way also. Okay, yes. So finally each process examines their elements of each of the newly received vectors. If any one of them has items that is the same, those are nothing but 1, 2, 4 are selected. Okay, and 3 cannot be decided, guys. So basically here we are having, what are the numbers we are having, guys? That is 1, 2 and 4. So basically just by concluding you can say 1, 2 and 4 are not having any issues, whereas the 3 is having some issue. So that is what you decided. So you might be saying that, okay, so we decided it right here itself, right? Whenever we wrote this, so basically at 3 we are having all values. So there could be a misconfusion, right? So to verify that, you will be sharing these values and all those things, guys. So this is the process in which you can identify the fault, guys. Okay? Yes. So I hope everyone got some basic idea on this. So in the next lecture, we'll be discussing about the fault detection, guys. Okay? There are 2 mechanisms which we'll be discussing in our next lecture. Okay? So let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks for watching.